1934 AD, 58:28 AM. Hitler and the Nazi Party purged the government of those who believed themselves to be hidden among them, enemies of the German people allied to foreign interests. In Russia, the Communist Party also conducts a purge of their own. Hitler consolidates the German military after disbanding the 3 million strong Storm Detachment. Hitler, with the consent of the German people, assumes the role of Commander-in-Chief of the armed forces. It was only after World War II and the international pillaging of Germany and enslavement of millions of Germans, who never returned to Germany, did the international Jewish-controlled media refer to him as a dictator. Adolf Hitler was loved by the Germans because he gave them jobs and gave Germany an economy free of the control of Jewish banks. In the USA, the Great Depression worsens and dust storms sweep over the southern states in May, removing about 300 million tonnes of topsoil. Bonnie and Clyde are shot dead by Texas Rangers. Donald Duck first appears in Walt Disney's The Orphan's Benefit. 1. Rule by secrecy. 2. 20th century events. 1935 AD, 58:29 AM. Italy invades Ethiopia, Abyssinia, and is condemned by the international community. President Roosevelt had the Great Seal of the United States published on US currency, the famous Great Pyramid and Eye, and on the obverse the eagle in the same stance as its predecessor, the phoenix. On the seal, the eagle holds 13 arrows and an olive branch, with 13 leaves and 13 olives, ancient symbols of the house of Israel, and the tribe of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim, born in Egypt. Manasseh, Great Britain, and Ephraim, the United States, called the branch, which is identified in Scripture with arrows. The Great Pyramid has 13 levels of bricks like the Pyramidion atop the Washington Monument obelisk. Affirming the ancient Israelite heredity and affiliation with the USA, Great Britain's Great Seal on the obverse depicts an image of the Sphinx. The number 13 is an occult reference to the 13 tribes of Israel, as well as a modern reference to the 13 colonies of England that broke away to become the United States. The eagle's beak has a scroll of 13 letters in Latin, E pluribus unum, or one out of many. This is the motto of the Empire of Adoption, the fulfillment of the Old Testament's Israelite cities of refuge. America is the new Israel, and just as ancient Israel was at war with Judah, so too do the descendants of Judah still make war against the naive and unwitting citizens of America and the European nations. Also on the dollar bill are the 13 letters Annuit Coeptis, quote, God has prospered our beginning, unquote. Washington's portrait on the dollar bill is framed by a cleverly concealed Greek omega symbol, the sign of the end. Additionally, the O and R letters beginning and ending $1 provide the linear foundation for a geometric pyramid that has for its symmetrical apex George Washington's portrait's eye. Persia formally changes its name to Iran under the Shah Pahlavi. Antarctic expeditions continue with bird discovering more evidence of fossil leaves, trees, and various species of giant ferns at the South Pole. Charles Richter invents the Richter scale for the measurement of earthquake magnitude. In Germany, the Nuremberg laws condemn the Jews and the swastika is adopted as the official flag of Germany. The American Social Security Act is passed. 1. Romans 11:24. 2. America and Britain, our identity revealed. 4. Secret symbols of the dollar bill. 5. Path to the pole. 1936 AD, 58:30 AM. In Germany, the Jews remaining behind and political dissidents are interned in concentration camps. International Jews continue economic sanctions against Germany, and Hitler employs the German people in government-paid programs, building the nation's military forces in the face of the loss of world trade amidst what he considered was a hostile British, French, American, Soviet encirclement. Hitler appeals to President Roosevelt for a summit to discuss difficulties, declaring that Germans wanted peace with America and calling for the USA to cease its harsh economic policies against Germany. Hitler was denied a meeting. Through 1938, Germany continually attempted to appeal to the USA, and every attempt was censored from the American public by the Jewish-dominated media. The Roosevelt administration was largely influenced and financed by international Jews, and sought to engage Germany in war, but needed to have Germany act as aggressor to gain public opinion favouring a conflict. Germany and Japan enter into an alliance intended to combat international communism. Hitler opens the first Volkswagen, people's car, factory in Saxony. The Nazi government retrieves a crashed UFO. This incident began a reverse engineering program and was not discovered by the world until US forces raided the complex in World War II. This year was exactly 2520 years, 360 by 7, after the fall of Judah in 585 BC to Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon. In the United States, the Hoover Dam, originally Boulder Dam, on the Colorado River is completed, creating the world's largest reservoir. The 11th Olympic Games are held in Berlin, Germany, and the black athlete Jesse Owens wins 4 gold medals for the United States. King George V of Britain died and is succeeded by Edward VIII, who 11 months later abdicates to be with his American lover, Mrs. Wallace Simpson, a married woman. He is succeeded by his brother George VI. 1. Iron Curtain over America. 3. 20th century events. 4. Hidden mysteries. 1937 AD, 58:31 AM. Attempting to fulfill their agreement with the Jewish Mossad organization to move the Jews into Palestine, Hitler inquires of the British government if he can fund a program to mass migrate the German Jewish population to Palestine, for Britain controlled Palestine by mandate. Hitler is offered Egypt as a viable second alternative and promised that Germany would fund the entire migration. Many German Jews accepted, and after Britain refused to allow Hitler to engage in the program, these Jews were safely moved out of the country. But many refused to move, and they were interned in the country's concentration camp factory complexes. The German airship Hindenburg explodes at Lakehurst, New Jersey, killing 36 people. This ended commercial airship travel. The gigantic airship was 804 feet in length, and the explosion was captured on film. Another air disaster involved the disappearance of Amelia Earhart, flying solo over the Pacific Ocean. Although she has never been found, nor the wreckage, artifacts on a Pacific island were recently discovered that indicate that she survived the crash and lived for a time on a small island. The Golden Gate Bridge opens to traffic across the San Francisco Bay. At New London, Texas, a gas explosion at a school killed 300 students and teachers, and is still considered the worst school disaster in US history. An asteroid seen by astronomers passes only 500,000 miles away from Earth, called Hermes. At Hong Kong, the Great Typhoon killed over 10,000 people. Also in China, a 5-year archaeological expedition was concluded at the ruins of Anyang, where Chinese archaeologists excavated tens of thousands of archaic Chinese texts upon animal bones and turtle shells, at the site known as the capital city of Yin of the Shang dynasty, overthrown by the Xian dynasty. These records indicate a dynastic change contemporary with the events of 1447 BC, when the Israelites escaped a ruined Egypt, and natural disasters occurred around the world. In 1937 AD, the Japanese renew their war efforts in China, starting the Sino-Japanese War. They capture Peking, now called Beijing, in July. 1. Jewish supremacism. 2. 20th century events. 3. End of Eden.